Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're basically strapping on our aprons and playing kitchen detectives. We're going to arm you with a practical survival guide to defend your home and, your stomach from the invisible enemies that are literally lurking right in your own kitchen. Yep, I'm talking about foodborne pathogens. So get ready to completely transform your daily cooking habits and safeguard your meals.
Okay, let's dive into this, because this number is just staggering. According to the FDA, 1 in 6 Americans get sick from a foodborne illness every single year. That is 48 million cases annually. And we aren't just talking about a mild upset stomach here. These illnesses actually result in over 100,000 hospitalizations. The reality is, the real battleground for food safety isn't just in some distant industrial factory. It's right on our very own countertops.
Here's our quick roadmap to help you go from potential victim to absolute kitchen hero. We'll start with the threat in your kitchen, then cover the cross-contamination danger, the 4 core safety steps, the fridge and thawing, and finally, when to see a doctor.
Part 1. The threat in your kitchen.
Whenever we think of food poisoning, our minds usually jump straight to a sketchy diner down the street or some expired takeout, right? But listen to this quote from the medical experts at Mount Sinai. The majority of food poisoning happens at home. Honestly, it's our own daily habits that are the real culprits here. Leaving deviled eggs out way too long at a picnic, letting rice cool really slowly on the stove, or just improperly storing leftovers. These everyday actions create the absolute perfect breeding ground for bacteria like Salmonella or Bacillus cereus.
Section 2. The cross-contamination danger.
So, the crucial point is, cross-contamination is essentially a bacterial hitchhiker situation. It happens when illness-causing microbes from a contaminated source, like raw chicken, physically transfer to another object, surface, or a ready-to-eat food. It's seriously one of the absolute stealthiest ways germs move from place to place.
Let's look at some completely common, everyday bad habits that cause this. First up, washing raw poultry in the sink. You might think you're cleaning the chicken, but actually, you are literally just splashing invisible bacteria all over your sink, your faucet, and the surrounding counters. It's a mess. Then there's using the exact same cutting board for raw meat and your salad veggies. That is a massive no-no. And how about holding on to that kitchen sponge for weeks on end? Sponges are basically primo real estate for germs. Infectious disease specialists actually recommend replacing them every other week. And finally, storing raw meat on the top shelf of your fridge. If that meat leaks, those juices drip straight down onto your fresh produce. Always store raw foods on the absolute bottom shelf.
Part 3. 4 core safety steps.
To defeat these pathogens, you just need this incredibly simple, actionable mental checklist from the FDA. Clean, separate, cook, and chill. When you use these 4 steps together, they drastically lower your risk from most foodborne pathogens. They are the absolute foundation of any safe kitchen. Let's highlight the clean step because it is arguably your most powerful weapon. We're talking about washing your hands with warm, soapy water for at least 20 seconds before, during, and after handling food. You see, soap actually breaks open the cell walls of bacteria, effectively destroying them. It's incredibly simple, yet it's your very first line of defense against vicious, invisible enemies like E. coli and norovirus. And this brilliantly illustrates the cook phase. Safe cooking means using a food thermometer. Unsafe cooking? That's just relying on the food's color and texture. You simply cannot eyeball a chicken breast to magically know if the bacteria inside are dead. The only way to guarantee you've hit the safe minimum internal temperature to destroy harmful bacteria is by actually using a thermometer.
Section 4. The fridge and thawing. Temperature control is for sure our best tool to stop bacteria right in their tracks and prevent them from multiplying into an unstoppable army. So here are your golden rules for kitchen appliances. Your refrigerator needs to be consistently at 40 degrees Fahrenheit or below, and your freezer at exactly 0 degrees. Why? Because at room temperature, illness-causing bacteria can literally double every 20 minutes. Chilling foods properly slows that growth to a total crawl. Oh, and definitely buy a standalone appliance thermometer to check your fridge. Because those built-in dials, yeah, they're rarely accurate.
Now let's talk about thawing. Safe thawing happens in the refrigerator, in cold water that you change every 30 minutes, or in the microwave. Unsafe thawing is just leaving frozen meat out on the kitchen counter all day. Listen, when you leave food at room temperature, the pathogens wake up and multiply incredibly fast. Some organisms can even create toxins that completely survive the cooking process. That means even if you cook that counter-thawed chicken perfectly, those toxins can still make you incredibly sick.
To totally master the chill step, employ these quick chill tactics. First, the 2-hour rule. Never leave perishables out for more than 2 hours, or just 1 hour if it's over 90 degrees outside. Second, despite what you might have heard, putting hot food in the fridge won't break the appliance. In fact, you should divide large hot leftovers, like a massive pot of soup or rice, into smaller, shallow containers so they cool rapidly in the fridge. This actually prevents tricky, heat-resistant spores like Bacillus cereus from growing in your rice. Third, don't overpack your fridge. Cold air really needs room to circulate. And finally, always marinate your foods inside the refrigerator, never on the counter.
Part 5. When to see a doctor.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that even with the very best defenses, sometimes the invisible enemy breaches our walls. It's totally critical to know the difference between a mild stomach bug and an actual medical emergency. If you experience persistent vomiting or diarrhea lasting for days, a fever over 102 degrees, blood in your stool or vomit, severe abdominal cramps, or signs of severe dehydration and confusion, do not wait. These red flags signal a severe infection. It could be a dangerous strain of E. coli that causes kidney failure, or listeria, which is especially dangerous for pregnant women and the elderly. If these symptoms appear, seek emergency medical care immediately.
We've definitely covered a lot of ground today, from shattering the myths of food poisoning to mastering the 4 core safety steps and the golden rules of your refrigerator. So I'm going to leave you with this. What's lurking in your fridge right now? And is your kitchen sponge plotting against you? It might just be time to go toss that sponge, buy a meat thermometer, and reorganize those fridges.